Nick out here today.
Unfortunate knock in training this week as you lose center back Nick Hagglund.
Yeah, Nick took a knock yesterday in training. So.
Not yet sure how long he'll be out, but he will not play in this one tonight. How tough is it to lose someone who's such an emotional leader for this team at this stage of the season?
Yeah, the timing of this one's tough.
We were preparing for our first playoff game against Red Bulls. It was the Thursday before the Saturday game, and we just finished our warm-up. We're going into 1v1 defending, and I went to block a ball, reached across my body and extended my leg, and felt an instant snap in my hamstring.
You know, the first thing we do in those cases is reach out to Dr. Bosom at Mercy Health, and it was important to us to get imaging and get an MRI, and they were great about sort of getting us in and setting that up.
I basically at the moment knew that I had to get surgery. It was going to be the best option for me to come back for the following year to do well. Bosom was like, we're going to do whatever it takes to get you back in the right way, and we're going to go with what we trust. So, you know, having the comfort of those guys and everyone willing to do whatever it takes to get me back, it made me feel good.
So there's a recovery process, right? We're worried about the incision and any sort of infection, get rid of the inflammation, decrease the pain. That's the first couple weeks. And then we start working on range of motion right away, hip and knee range of motion.
Had a brace on my leg, not able to extend, so I was just like constantly like this. Locked for about 2 weeks in that position, and then incrementally they would give me a little bit more extension.
Then you progress into the weight room and you start using heavier weights and more dynamic exercises, all building to getting him function enough to get on the field and start jogging around.
After Jason's time of like 2 months, he kind of handed me over to Pat Tanner, and Pat Tanner graciously did the runs with me, at the pace that I could do. So I just appreciated, his diligence in helping me out.
That muscle is largely involved in high-speed running or sprinting, and so for us, a big part of the process in Florida was building him up to be able to get to a point where he could start to sprint and run at higher speeds. So some of it is general fitness. We were monitoring his heart rate, so that was a big way that we sort of determined what we thought his level of fitness was. And we were even comparing it to what the team was doing on any given day. And so, he had gotten to a point where he was pretty consistent from a heart rate variability. So every week we added like 10% speed, 10 or 15% faster than we were the week before.
Or the jog to the end line, and the easy jog back is the 15.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it's
really
probably going to be just like this.
Yeah, got it.
Right. So there.
Let's go, Nick. Not too fast. Not too slow.
I think everybody who's ever met Nick would identify him as like a team player, right? So it was important for us to have Nick doing his sessions while the team was training. I don't think Nick would have thrived in the rehab process if he couldn't have some banter with Matt Miazga or other players. And so that's an important part of who Nick is.
And it was funny for me being a part of the team and like still enjoying the camaraderie and joking around with guys. Sometimes my training was harder than the guy. I'm watching them and they're just like kicking the ball around lightly, and I'm just like sweating, dying on the field, gasping for air.
Like someone like Nick, you can't just sort of give him an open field and say, get from here to there and back in 10 seconds, because he would probably do it in 7.5 or 8 seconds. And then ultimately ends up running faster he wanted to in that phase.
With Pat Tanner and Gary Walker and Phil Keene, they were instrumental in terms of like knowing me as a player, as I'm going to push to get back as soon as possible, and they knew that, and so they kind of set my schedule up in a way that I could have 3 hard days and 1 off day, just because they knew that I was going to push. And I feel like that took the pressure off myself to try and regulate myself. They helped me as a player to be able to, push hard, but also get the rest that I needed and come back at the right time, not too early, not too late. We're finished. First off, boys, it's nice to be back here with you. Second of all, it's us tonight. It's about us. Here we go, boys. I'm walking up, get my jersey, and as I stand on the line, just the reception from the fans was, score the goal.
Fan favorites, probably putting it politely. Listen to the Bailey and the reception of Nick Hagglund back into the mix, making his way back from hamstring surgery, gracing TQL with his presence for the first time since October 21st of last season.
For me, it was just a cool moment from the city to hear people care and support me and celebrate, you know, coming back from injury, and definitely a career highlight in terms of just like, you know, your hometown receiving you in that way. I think the hardest part was wondering if I'm going to come back and be the same player that I was. I think it always, as a player, once you get hurt, especially like a major injury with a surgery, is the hamstring healed completely?
And the way he injured, that sort of sliding and reaching, is definitely part of his game and something he does. So we knew we were going to see it, right?
Yeah, the ball was about to be played in behind, and they were probably going to be on a breakaway and probably score, and I had to lunge my leg out there in the exact position that I had snapped my hamstring.
You know, we were just sort of like, okay, he got back up and he's good to go, you know?
I mean, I made the play, passed the ball away, and I feel like for me that was, just a reaffirming of all the things that I had done, you know, all the things that the staff had done for me in that moment, able to trust my hamstring to do what it needed to do.
Yes! 3 points, baby! Let's go!